Howdy, friend. Spitz here, and this is Feed Bandit, the Texas First Outdoors podcast. If you have ever floated a flat-bottomed John boat deep into the quiet, winding bayous of the Texas coast just as the thick summer humidity settles over the water, you know that our coastal marshes feel like a completely different world. When the bullfrogs start their deep rumbling music and the night birds cry out from the reeds, you realize that you are stepping into a landscape that hasn't changed since the dawn of time. And out there in the dark, floating silently just beneath the surface of the green water, looks a creature that is a true living dinosaur. I am talking about the American alligator. This is the undisputed king of our coastal wetlands, a powerful armored predator built with hundreds of sharp teeth, a crushing jaw, and a massive swimming tail that can launch it through the shallows like a rocket ship. Hunting alligators in Texas isn't like hunting a white-tailed deer from a comfortable wooden blind or casting a line for bass in a quiet lake. It is an intense, close-quarters battle that requires ultimate patience, specialized gear, and a whole lot of old-school grit. Today we are going to dive deep into the wild world of alligator hunting in the Texas coastal marshes. We will talk about their secret hunting habits, the strict state regulations you must follow to stay legal, and the exact step-by-step woodcraft skills you need to set your lines, handle a giant reptile safely, and bring home a true monster of the swamp. So, pull up a chair. We have a lot of muddy water to cross. To successfully track a giant alligator through the labyrinth of the coastal marsh, you have to throw out your standard hunting playbook and learn how to think like a prehistoric reptile. Alligators are cold-blooded creatures, which means their entire life is governed by the temperature of the sun and the water. During the scorching heat of the summer, they spend their days floating quietly in the deep, shaded holes beneath the overhanging willow trees, or basking on hidden mud banks to warm their massive muscles. They are apex ambush hunters, staying perfectly still for hours until a nutria, a wild hog, or a stray bird swims too close to the bank. In a split second, the gator explodes out of the water, snaps its jaws shut with thousands of pounds of bone-crushing pressure, and drags its meal down into the muddy depths. Because they have been hunting this way for millions of years, their senses are incredibly sharp. They can detect the tiny vibration of a splashing minnow from 100 yards away, and their dark eyes can see perfectly in the pitch black of a moonless marsh night. Hunting them requires you to get up close and personal in their territory, matching your wits against an animal that is built entirely for survival. Let's do a technical deep dive into the legal strategies and field mechanics required to harvest a Texas alligator safely. My first big tip for you is to understand the strict zoning laws and tagging regulations set by the state. Texas is split into two completely different types of alligator hunting zones, core counties and non-core counties. The core counties, which sit mainly along the wet coastal prairies of East Texas, have a dedicated fixed season that opens in September. To hunt in these areas, you must secure a special CITES property tag directly from the state or from the landowner of the marsh you are standing on. Every single alligator harvested must be tagged immediately through the tail with this official federal locking seal before you ever move the animal an inch from the water. If you are hunting in a non-core county, the rules change completely, and you can harvest a gator on private property during the spring months using a standard hunting license. But you must report the harvest to the state within 24 hours. Always read your outdoor annual booklet cover to cover before you head out, because skipping a single rule is the fastest way to turn your outdoor adventure into a major ticket from the game warden. My second tip is to master the mechanics of the classic hook and line set, which is the most common and traditional way to harvest an alligator in the thick marsh. Under Texas law, your line must be tied securely to a stationary object on the bank, like a thick cypress knee, a heavy root system, or a stout wooden stake driven deep into the red clay. Use a heavy-duty multi-braided nylon rope, at least 300-pound test, and attach it to a giant specialized alligator hook. For bait, alligators love oily, high-scent meat that they can smell from a mile away down the bayou. The absolute top choice for veteran marsh hunters is a large, fresh woodcock, a whole chicken, or a heavy chunk of beef lung. Take your baited hook and suspend it exactly 1 to 2 feet above the surface of the water, hanging it gently from a flexible willow branch or a split bamboo pole stuck in the mud. This keeps the little turtles and crabs from eating your bait, but leaves it perfectly visible to a giant alligator swimming past at night. When the gator senses the food, it will leap out of the water, swallow the bait whole, and slide back into the mud, pulling the rope tight against the bank line. My third tip is to practice ultimate safety and caution when you return to check your lines the next morning. When you pull up your boat and see that a line is pulled tight into the deep reeds, you must assume that a live, angry giant is waiting for you at the other end of that rope. Pull the line slowly and steadily, keeping your hands completely clear of any loops in the rope so you don't get accidentally dragged over the side into the water if the gator makes a sudden run. Never try to haul a live alligator straight into your boat while it is still fighting. Under Texas law, you must dispatch the animal humanely before it can be brought on board or unhooked. The standard and safest method is to pull the alligator's head up to the surface right next to the gunnel of your boat, locate the tiny walnut-sized soft spot right behind its bony eyes, and use a small-caliber rimfire rifle or a specialized bang stick to deliver a precise, clean shot. My fourth tip is to wear heavy, rugged protective gear and solid footwear. The coastal marsh is full of deep-sucking black mud, sharp oyster shells, and thick briars that can tear your skin to pieces. Wear thick leather boots, heavy-duty work gloves to prevent rope burns, and keep a sharp, heavy skinning knife ready in your pack. Managing our native alligator populations through regulated hunting is a premier Texas tradition, because it serves as one of our state's greatest success stories in modern wildlife conservation. Back in the middle of the last century, alligators were harvested so heavily without any rules that they almost completely disappeared from our southern bayous. But by working alongside our local land managers, setting strict seasons, and treating the species with true honor, our state successfully brought the American alligator back from the brink of danger. Today, our coastal marshes are healthier than ever, and gators are thriving in massive numbers across every river system down south. Preserving the tradition means looking at these ancient predators not with fear or anger, but with deep respect for their role in the natural balance of the swamp. Protecting the legacy means passing down these essential marshcraft, tracking, and rope handling skills to our sons and daughters, showing them that being a true Texian outdoorsman means taking responsibility for the wild things and the wild places we inherit. When you bring home a harvested alligator, you are providing your family with hundreds of pounds of some of the leanest, healthiest, and most delicious meat the backcountry has to offer, while creating a beautiful leather legacy that will last for generations. Know your lines and always respect the wild heart of the Texas coast. So what do you think of that? Are we right on target, or did we totally miss the boat on that one? Email us at howdy@feedbandit.com and let us know either way. And don't forget to check us out at feedbandit.com and grab some gear to show off your Texas First Outdoors pride. Preserve the tradition, protect the legacy, and remember, always support your local feed store. If you're there for them, they'll be there for you when you need them the most out in the field. Stand tall, fellow Texian. We'll talk soon.